Okay, this is the chicken coop in its entirety. So this used to be a swing set, a kid's swing set, and it sat right over there where those planters are. So that roof line is actually the roof line of the fort portion of the swing set, and the center beam holding up the run. I don't know if you can see that or not. That center beam holding up the run is the beam that the swings used to be on. So, a couple things. This is a pretty advanced chicken coop. You can see my chickens are actually in there right now. They are just old enough. We just put them outside today. But this whole thing is solar powered. I've got a couple solar panels on the side and a couple batteries in the back. So it's pretty sophisticated. Let me show you that stuff real quick here. Okay, so there's the solar panels. I got a bird that's built a nest up there on top of them, but they're adjustable. There's 3 separate holes, one for summer, one for spring and fall, one for winter. So you can adjust the angle on it. That's my waterer. Got a 5-gallon sports drink container. It's insulated, which helps keep the water from freezing in the winter. Got a little fish tank heater that I can stick in there, and it will keep the water from freezing. These are just little Predator Eye Pros, little red blinking LEDs to keep predators away. I'll show you the back side real quick. I got some vents at the top. I've got these windows, plexiglass, and they open up, slide to the side to allow ventilation. So the coop is nice and ventilated. This is my nesting box area. This nesting box opens up, and you can see I got my batteries in one of the nesting boxes. Just makes it easier. I didn't have to build a battery box that way. And 4 nesting boxes. Okay. Alright, while we're back here, I'm going to show you my water. I've got 6 of those little watering nipples sitting out there, and then it's attached with a little coupler to the 5-gallon container. It seems to hold water pretty well. It's been sitting out here for about a week and a half and lost about an inch of water just from random drips. These are my grit and calcium feeders. I can show you more from the inside there, but I've got little twist off caps for them, make it easier to fill. So you can see the grits in that one. I don't have the calcium in yet because they're not ready to lay eggs. I went with the cap that screws on this way instead of the other way, with the threads on the outside instead of the inside, so that rain couldn't get in there. I watched a video from another guy that had tried it the other way and said he ended up switching to these because the rain gets in. I do have a feeder set up. It's just a 5-gallon bucket feeder with 4 45-degree angle PVC pieces put in there so the food doesn't come out. I used a 2-inch PVC. I plan on putting a little filler neck, kind of like the fillers I've got on the grit and calcium containers. I plan on putting one of those going into the feed bucket so I can fill it from the outside, right in this area here. Okay, let's go inside the run. I've got a couple locks on it so that the predators can't get in, raccoons and stuff. Put this little pull string up here, see, so that the latch can be undone from inside. Helps a lot because I locked myself in here once. I'm trying not to step on the chickens here. a little roosting bar across there so that they can roost. The entire roof is done in hardware cloth, so flying predators can't come in. I also have 3 vents up top there and a sliding window on this side as well with the plexiglass so they can still see in. I used just a regular tarp to cover it with and some zip ties. It's a 9x9 I believe, and it fits pretty well, just the side here doesn't really fit. I might fold it next time I put one on there. I'm gonna need another one probably. There's a couple spots where it's getting poked and ripped, so I'll need another one at some point. But this was a cheap 9x9 tarp. I think I got it for like $4 at Menards, maybe less. Here's the ramp to the coop door. I just built this out of it was a little climbing wall on the swing set. Most of the stuff's from the swing set. I did get a panel of just one panel of siding material, like a 4x8 sheet of siding from my neighbors. They just had some left over from their chicken coop, and I used that. Here's my chickens, some of my chickens here. You can see they're pretty happy. Here's my setup underneath. On the inside, I've got the little feeder, the grit feeder and the calcium feeder, and then the water. Right now there's steps up to the water just so that I know that they can reach it, but I'll take those out when they get a little bit bigger. Okay. Got a couple different locks. So I got this door on the outside here. It's pretty fancy. I got a little, I don't know if you can see that in the upper left, there is a photo sensor, and that is set on a timer. So basically when the sun is out and the timer is on, the door comes up. When the sun is not out and the timer is on, the door goes down. I also happen to have it set up on a little remote key fob thingy. Just bought this on Amazon for like maybe $8 or $9, and it was pretty tricky wiring it together. I kept blowing fuses, but it does work. I'll push the down button so you can see it go. Stop it, bring it back up. Show you that a little bit more when we get inside here. This is a big door, like an access door I put on. Open that up too for you. We'll edit this stuff out so that it's a little nicer. Alright, so here's my big access door, opens all the way. I've got this framed out, and just some paneling I found in my attic that was left over from the previous homeowner. I got it framed out so that I can put insulation in here. There's actually about 1.5 to 2 inches of insulation inside this door. There's also insulation inside the walls here, also covered by panel. So let me show you the inside. Right now I've got a heat lamp on. It's still around 30 degrees at night, so I want to make sure that they don't die on me. But I've got the roosting bar here. I've got 1, 2, 3 little steps, and this does actually detach. Comes off of there, little brackets that it sits in. So I can take this out if I need to. And then I've got a roosting bar below the nesting boxes, which is hinged and can be folded up and locked into place with that that little wing nut thing there. So I can lock it up, which makes it easier to clean. Got a little sign going on the inside. My neighbors gave me that as well. Insulation through the walls, insulation on the roof. There's a little roosting bar, goes across the window there. It's I hope the chickens can get to it. They should be able to jump from that roosting bar up there, but we'll find out at some point here. Yeah, so here's my door timer. I don't want to turn it sideways. Here's my door timer. I wrote door on it so that I know which one's which. It's on tracks. I had it working off of a car seat motor, like a worm gear, with a string, and a couple limit switches, one at the top, one at the bottom, and it worked. Just in the winter it kind of bound up a little bit on me, and when it binds up it kind of kept going and wound the string in the other direction and blew the fuses, so it stopped working. I had to fix it all the time. So I did, I put this door on rails so that it wouldn't bind up, makes it a little easier to slide. And then I also bought a linear actuator motor. It's a 12-inch linear actuator motor, and that works a little bit better for me. It also holds the door down so that any predators can't get in. If for some reason they do get into the run, they won't be able to get into the coop if that door is closed. Let's go on the other side and check it out from the other side. Oh, by the way, while I'm in here, this ramp does detach if I need to. It's got two little eyelet hooks here, and it's sitting on a 2x4, so it's got plenty. It's plenty stable, but I can detach the ramp and set it aside, you know, kind of like that, and then it's, you know, easier to get to things and easier to clean out the. So that's the inside of the coop. Let's check out from the other direction. Oh, I got a predator eye on this side too, so basically one on each side, just protecting the perimeter from predators, hopefully. I used the roofing material that was already on the swing set. It's almost all cedar. The whole swing set was cedar. So the whole thing's built out of cedar except for the run is some pressure treated 1x2s. Should have used 2x4s, I guess, but 1x2s seem to work. I also put a foundation down so my dogs can't dig in. Just dug a trench basically and put some block in there and leveled it as best I could. It's not perfectly level, but it's good enough. So yeah, let's take a look at. There's another access door on the side here, so it just makes it easier to clean and access things. So let's check that out. Oh, by the way, I also built a tray for the bedding. So this tray in here holds the bedding. And all right, so let's go check out the inside of the coop from here. There's the roosting bar across the windows, the other door on the other side there, the window, actuator motor. All the electronics are behind this panel here to the right of the door. It is insulated a little bit, but not a whole lot, just because there's so much electronic stuff in there. I've got like 3 or 4 relays sitting in there so that make everything work basically. A couple other things here that make it fancy. Solar powered. There's a solar controller that runs everything. All the wires are run behind the paneling so the chickens can't get to them. There is like a wiring bar, like a positive and negative wiring bar behind these 2 timers, behind the paneling. One of those timers there is for the lights, one's for the fan, or fans. I had a cheap Korean light just hanging from the middle there. It was supposed to be like a camping LED light, and it didn't work. It flickered and burned out. I bought another one. It flickered and burned out. So I ended up spending a little bit extra, and I got this LED trailer light inside a trailer light for just like a utility trailer. And I wired that in. It's a little bit more powerful, and I'm not going to use the lights all that often, but there is a timer, so I can use the lights on a timer, or I can switch them on and off manually with the timer. I've got 2 computer case fans. I don't know if you can see those inside that mesh. I put the mesh over it so the chickens wouldn't peck it and get hit by the fans and break them. And then there's a fan controller tucked up under there with a little control wheel that I can adjust. So I can adjust the speed on the fans. I've got 2 fans on this side, right over the vents, and 2 fans on this side, right over the vents. And they're all wired together with the speed controller, so you can turn them on max or turn them on minimum to save power. And then the timer there controls when they turn on and off. Right now I've got them set to run for a half an hour every half an hour. So 1 o'clock to 1:30, 2 o'clock to 2:30, and so on and so forth. And that's just to ventilate the coop, get all the noxious fumes out of here once they start pooping all over the place. That's pretty much the extent. Oh, one more thing. So I built this tray. You might imagine it doesn't come out of these doors. See how small the doors are? Well, this, underneath this roosting bar, this whole panel underneath the nesting boxes folds up and out of the way. It's on hinges, and I can slide that puppy right on out. So take a look here. Oh, by the way, I've got that heater wired in here. That's the only AC power I've got. I can't run a heater off of my solar panels. I wish I could, but it just won't work. And I built a little platform for the cooler to keep it at the right level. But yeah, see, here's a door all along the side. It folds up and attaches to this little string here, so it tucks out of the way basically. Tucks up underneath the nesting box, and then I can slide that tray out for cleaning. So that's my chicken coop. I'll show you a couple more angles here. I've got some pictures that I'm going to upload as well to kind of show everybody the pictures of it as it's being built. There's a couple things I would have done a little bit differently. Made it a lot more difficult trying to make the coop mostly out of the swing set. It's kind of limited as to what materials I had. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on it though, so that's a positive, I suppose. And I would have probably made the panels an equally spaced distance apart so that the mesh, the hardware cloth, was a little bit easier to attach. The door, obviously, we might expand at some point. Right now we got 6 chickens. We were planning on having 9. We wanted 3 of the Easter egg variety, but they sold out rather quickly, so we only got 6. We got 2 Rhode Island Reds, 2 Barred Rocks, and 2 Black Astrolarbs. So there's only 6 right now. I think we're going to give it a couple years and then get a few more. That way, once these ones stop laying eggs, the other ones will still be laying eggs, and we'll have a fresh supply of eggs for years to come. So that's my chicken coop. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm out.